Have you ever wondered why certain men, those toxic, controlling, dangerous types, they seem to target kind, selfless, and giving women? It's not a coincidence. In fact, it's part of their playbook. Welcome to the Rich Woman Society. Today we're going to unpack why these men love doormat women, why it's so dangerous, and most importantly, how you can break free from this cycle. It's not a coincidence. In fact, it's part of their playbook. Dee Devlin has always been Conor McGregor's biggest supporter from the very beginning. Even while he trained to achieve his dreams, Dee stood by him, working to support the household financially and emotionally. She believed in him when the odds were really stacked against him, providing him with stability and a shoulder to lean on during the challenging times. Conor finally made it. In exchange, he's had multiple run-ins with the law, accused multiple times of essaying various women. He's openly flirted with women right in front of Dee's face. He's even been captured on video in some strange woman's bed who clearly wasn't Dee. So he proposed to her in 2020. 5 years later, they've had 2 more kids after the engagement, one born in 2021 and the other one in 2023. So this man has still not married her. That's the definition of a shut-up ring. But she keeps having his babies for a grand total of 15 years together, 4 kids, a 5-year-long engagement, and her man keeps dealing with other women any chance he can get. Dee, in the meantime, is acting as his incubator, bringing his lineage earthside in a doormat at this point. I think he's figured it out. 4 kids, no real career of her own that's independent of his. Plus, she's become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. So where else is she gonna go? And how many other men could provide such a lifestyle for a mother of 4? This is a prime example of a woman building her own gilded cage. Who knows, maybe to her, embarrassment is just the price to pay for being with a rich man. You would think he'd be loyal to a woman who's been there for him from the very start, back when he had no job, no money, and she was the one supporting him. Instead, he stays in the streets, embarrassing her, in and out of legal trouble, etc. Let's have a heart-to-heart today because this topic is so important. You see, toxic men don't just randomly end up in relationships with amazing women who give everything and ask for nothing. They seek these women out. They need them. Why? Because women who put others first, women who avoid conflict, and women who do not set boundaries make it so easy for these men to manipulate, control, and take advantage of them. And let me be clear, this is not the woman's fault completely. But understanding the pattern can help you protect your energy and your heart. Toxic men thrive on power. They crave control in relationships. And a woman who is overly accommodating, who's always saying yes and never stands up for herself, becomes the perfect target. Think of it like this. If you were a bully on the playground, would you pick on somebody who fought back, or would you target that kid who stays silent? It's the same logic. Toxic men see kindness without boundaries as an opportunity, not a virtue. Take the story of Tina Turner, for example. When she first met Ike Turner, she was just starting out. She was young, she was eager to please, and she was so trusting. Ike quickly took advantage of her gentle nature. He dominated her life and career, manipulating her kindness into submission. It wasn't until Tina reclaimed her power, fighting back against his control, that she found true freedom. Can you think of a time when you gave too much to somebody who didn't deserve it? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you navigated those situations. Here's the thing. Doormat women are often deeply empathetic. They feel for others so strongly that they'll sacrifice their own well-being just to make somebody else happy. Toxic men know how to exploit this. They will turn a woman's kindness into guilt and her generosity into obligation. Think about Marilyn Monroe. She was one of the most beloved women of her time, yet she found herself repeatedly entangled with men who took more from her than they ever gave back. Why? Because her deep need to be loved and accepted made her vulnerable to manipulation. Instead of receiving the love she gave so freely, she was left feeling more alone than ever. And yes, this really does happen to beautiful women, women who are skinny, who are fit, overweight, underweight. It doesn't matter. It's all about the woman's mindset. Let's talk about the cost, because there's always a cost. Being a doormat in a toxic relationship doesn't just drain your energy, it chips away at your confidence, your self-worth, and sometimes even your safety. Take the tragic case of Riri and Chris Brown. That is Rihanna and Chris Brown for you guys who don't know. Rihanna was at the height of her career when she found herself in a relationship that turned really, really toxic, really fast. Her willingness to forgive him, despite the public backlash, shows just how deeply ingrained the idea of giving just one more chance is programmed, especially into women. But we saw the cost that it took on her emotionally, and it was only after she chose herself over the relationship that she truly began to thrive again. Here's the truth. Toxic men cannot stand boundaries. They do not want a partner. They want absolute control. This is why, ladies, if a man ever tells you that they want a submissive woman or they stress that out in the dating phase, you need to be out the door. That is usually the sign of an abusive man, okay? The way to protect yourself isn't by being less kind or empathetic, but by adding boundaries to that kindness and absolutely walking away right when you see the first sign of the first red flag. Now, think of Oprah Winfrey. As much as some of you do not like her anymore, she has become somewhat polarizing nowadays. She is nobody's doormat. You not liking her or liking her does not affect her bank account. Oprah is still gonna have billions of dollars. Now, Oprah is somebody who knows how to give without letting others take advantage of her. She surrounds herself with people who respect her boundaries, and that's a big part of why she is so successful. She looks out for herself as number one. And also, if you look into Oprah's history with her trauma, you will understand why she is the way she is and why she's put herself first, to the point that she has chosen to remain unmarried and instead be in a long partnership, which I believe is one of the smartest things she's ever done, is to never get married, because women with her type of money either need to marry men who have that type of money or more, or stay in a long-term committed relationship. That is just my thought. Again, I digress. Remember this, you are just as worthy. Don't you think that you're worthy of platonic and romantic relationships where your kindness is valued, not exploited? I want you to think about your own relationships. Are there people who constantly take from you without giving back? Are there boundaries you've been afraid to set? Let me know in the comments, because talking about it is the first step to self-awareness. And once you're self-aware, you could start making a change. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Your kindness could be your greatest weakness if you give it to just anybody. You need to protect yourself. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Your kindness could be your greatest weakness as a woman, and that is if you just give it to anybody. You need to protect yourself. Do not let toxic people dim your light just because they're afraid of their own shadow. You are so worth more than that.